Posted by you/lovecats86. I recently found out that my husband, 42M, is cheating on me with our married best friend, 32F. She is the godmother to our 4 children. They don't know that I know, but I caught them making out at the end of our driveway when he was seeing her off after dinner with our family. We live on a small acreage and the driveway is a long way off from the main house. She had forgotten some crockery at the house, and I decided to walk it over because, for some reason, the two of them always took a while to say goodbye. Now I know why. That's when I saw them lit by her car's headlights, making out in the front seat, with our best friend sitting on top of my husband. In shock, I didn't know whether to throw her Pyrex at the car or just walk away. I decided on the latter and was too shocked to cry or be angry. When my husband got back, I had to pretend like everything was normal. I know it's stupid, but I couldn't sleep that night and decided to go through his phone. She was obviously under a pseudonym, but I found a handful of their messages dating back 2 or 3 years. Her husband doesn't know, he's currently posted overseas as a diplomat. I'm sick with rage and betrayal. I'm lost and have no idea what steps to take next. Edit. I don't live in the US but in Australia. Technically, I can't file for divorce immediately, as you need to be separated for 1 year and 1 day to file officially. My now ex-best friend just recently returned to the country. Her father has cancer, after being posted overseas with her husband. The dinner was to welcome her home, and what a welcome. There are some comments here about the headlights illuminating them. Sorry, I meant overhead lights. As for what I'm going to do now, a part of me just wants to confront my husband and see what lame excuse he has. But I need to get away from him. This level of betrayal physically hurts. I can't help but think of all the times we spent together over the years and how long our families were fooled. My mind is going crazy, recalling when she was single and he would rescue her from some bad date, or the times they were alone in my house when the kids and I were out. How irrationally angry he was when he found out she had a boyfriend and then chose to marry him. Thinking back on it, the two of them disappeared at her wedding. When I asked him where he was, he said he needed to reassure her that she had done the right thing. I feel so sick thinking of these things. Update 3 days later. Thank you, everyone, for your concern and advice. As of tomorrow, my husband will be out of town. I've tried really hard to act normal around my now ex-best friend, but it's proving difficult, and I feel sick. I have been telling both of them that I've caught some terrible bug and just haven't been feeling like myself. While my husband is out of town for the next few days, my sister-in-law, who is the only other person who knows, my brother's wife, will help me pack important documents and store them somewhere my husband doesn't know about. I've arranged for my kids to stay with them for a week while I sort everything out. I've spoken to a family lawyer, and they have advised me that the best way to start the separation process is to no longer be living under the same roof. I'm fortunate in that most of our assets are also in my name, and the land our house is on was gifted to us by my parents. I'm planning to kick him out after his trip. But before that, I want to catch them both in the act again, have some hard proof, send it to the ex-friend's husband, and get the ball rolling on moving forward with my life. I'll update you on what happens after the confrontation. Second update 6 days later. My husband came home 2 nights ago from his trip. While he was gone, I had organized a lot of the important documents, for example, financial, birth certificates, passports, anything that he could potentially use to try and get more than what he deserves. They are now safely stored, and my kids have been staying with their aunt and uncle for the past few days. I had packed all my husband's things, and he has been really good at keeping his tracks clean because there was no evidence of his affair among his stuff. I placed all his belongings in the garage, ready for the confrontation with him. I was super nervous because I wasn't sure if I was making the right decision. Once he came home, I remembered seeing him kissing our best friend. I remembered the deep hurt they had caused. I was in our kitchen when he came home, and he knew straight away that something was wrong. During that week, I had been distant, had barely answered his texts, and had screened his calls. I did answer every now and then and gave the kids a chance to speak to their dad. He asked me why I hadn't been responding to his texts, and he tried to kiss me, but I turned away. Before I knew it, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, "I want a separation." I have to admit that he didn't look very surprised when I said it. He nodded his head and said, "What do you know?" That was just a punch in the gut, because I wanted him to deny it or say something like it was a one-off thing. I asked him to tell me everything, like when it started, and he said they began about 10 years ago. At first, it was flirtatious messaging and a sneaky kiss in the office when they briefly worked together, and the affair was on and off. She apparently always felt guilty, and her way out of that was to marry the next man who was interested in her and proposed. He admitted that they had sex on her wedding day and that when he is out of town, they meet. At this point, I couldn't breathe, and I was sobbing. I hated that the next words out of my mouth were, "Did you even ever love me?" He hesitated and said, "Yes, of course, but I was never in love with you the way I was with her." I cleared my throat and told him that he should tell her husband. There is no point hiding it anymore. I told him that all his stuff was in the garage and that he could find somewhere else to stay. I let him know that I had spoken to a family lawyer and that when I feel ready, and only when I feel ready, we will see each other again and talk about the future arrangements for the kids. I said any further communication could be done through my sister-in-law or my brother. I told him he is allowed to see the kids but only at their place. I, of course, want full custody of the children because it hurts too much to give him anything at this point. He agreed to all my points because he knew he was in the wrong. He tried to say sorry, and then I absolutely lost it and screamed, "No. Effing no way are you sorry. For 10 effing years you have both deceived everyone we know. Please take your crap and leave and tell that woman you have been effing for 10 years that I do not ever want to see her effing face again." Certainly not my shining moment, but it was also the culmination of all the hurt and anger over the last few weeks that they had caused. I have no intention of talking to my ex-best friend or to my soon-to-be ex-husband until I have had time to grieve. So, thank you, community, for the encouragement and advice. I hope I can heal and move on from this. Third update 1 year later. Thank you to everyone who has been messaging over the past year to check in on me and ask for an update. It's been a crazy, painful year, but our divorce has been finalized, and I'm free. My ex-husband and my ex-best friend, unsurprisingly, are now in an actual relationship after the ex-best friend's husband found out about the affair. He divorced her, and since then we have met up for coffee to check in on each other and our mental health. He's been great, sending encouraging messages. He lives overseas, and from his Facebook updates, he has started dating again. I'm very happy for him. The legal and custody battles have been fairly stressful, but my ex-husband agreed to all my terms. The custody of the children was the only thing he really fought for. I have custody of the kids, and he sees them on the weekends. The kids, along with me, have all been going to therapy separately. My ex-husband wants to see them more, and during school breaks, the kids have the choice to stay with him or me. They have been good about it, staying with him for a week or so and then coming back to their mommy. Apart from necessary conversations, I steer away from my ex-husband and the ex-best friend. It still hurts so much, and I understand that it will take time to heal. But I am letting go because I don't want them to have that level of influence over my life. I decided to sell the property we were living in and move closer to family and friends because, as you know, it takes a village. I have been extremely grateful for the support I have received over the past year. I'm tearing up just writing this, knowing that I couldn't have gotten through all of this without my loved ones. As for myself, I'm happy overall, still a work in progress but grateful for life. The kids and I have been enjoying life, and when we have the time and the money, we try to take little trips here and there so the traumatic events of the divorce don't linger and can be replaced by good memories. Memories where they spent road trips and adventures with their mom.